Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 1, Unit 4.5 Notes, Day 1. Today we're talking about graphing linear inequalities on the coordinate plane. Our learning target today is to be able to graph linear inequalities with two variables on the x and y coordinate plane. Now, things to remember when graphing. The inequality must be written in slope-intercept form. You might be like, oh, Mr. Grice, I thought I was done with slope-intercept form. Well, you're not, okay? Remember that slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b. The only thing that's going to be different today, instead of an equal sign, now we're going to be dealing with an inequality symbol. And the inequalities are same as the last thing that we were just doing when we were graphing lines like this and wondering if it was open or closed. We're doing the same thing now, except it's going to be on a coordinate plane. Okay? So, things to notice. The symbol is less than, okay? Our first symbol, it's an open circle, which means it's going to have a dashed line. And when we shade it, it's going to be below. Okay? Less than or equal to, it's a closed circle with a solid line, and we would shade below for that. And you might be like, oh, Mr. Grice, solid dotted? What are you talking about? Okay, before when we graphed solid, and those are our closed points, okay? Now what we're going to be doing is we're going to have open points, and our line is going to have dashes in it. And those are the two main differences of the types of graphs that we're going to be doing today. Okay? So now if you look at the next one, greater than has open circles and it's a dashed line. And since it's greater, we shade above. And then greater than or equal to is a closed circle with a solid line, and we shade above. Okay? You need to know that. We will be referring to that a lot. And you can always use a test point. And the test point we're going to be using all the time is 0, 0. And that's going to decide which side of the line to shade on, either the right or the left. If you get a true statement, shade the side that contains that point. Okay? You might be like, whoop. Don't worry about it. We'll go over it. Okay? Now, number one, let's get started with the graphing. Our first 3 questions, all we're doing is we're looking at that inequality symbol. Okay? So, is it open or closed? It's open. Okay? So if it's open, that means we have a dashed line. Okay? Now, is it shade above or below? Remember, it's less than we shade below. Okay? Now, let's graph before we worry about this test point. Now, our slope is 1/2. Remember, we get the slope from right there. Okay? That slope is a positive slope, so I know my graph's going to rise. And our y-intercept is 0, -5. Okay? So at 0, -5 is where I start, and we said it's open, so I'm not closing that in like we used to. It's just an open circle. And then I follow the slope, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. And we do that in both directions, okay? And then we use our ruler to make a dashed line. And then we add our arrows, okay? So now we need to decide where we're going to graph, okay? And that's what this test point is, 0, 0, okay? I'm plugging in 0, 0, and now 1/2 times 0 is 0. So we're left with 0 is less than 5, negative 5. Is 0 less than negative 5? And that's when you're thinking on a number line, here's negative 5, where would 0 be? 0's to the right. Okay, remember left means less. 0 is not less than. So when we're graphing this part, this should not be part of my solution. And the last part is we have to shade all of my possible answers. And all of my possible answers are anything that's below this line. Okay? So a solution could be right there, -1, -8. Okay? That is a solution. Okay? But 0, 0, no. Okay? All right, let's go through another one. Now, the nice thing about these is y is already by itself, guys. That's good. All right, so looking at the symbol, is it open or closed? It's closed, so that means we're going to have a solid line. Do we shade above or below? We shade above. Now my y-intercept, or my slope first, it's -3, and remember that's -3 over 1, which means it's negative, so our graph is going to fall. All right, and our y-intercept is 0, 7. So starting at 0, 7, I have a closed point, and I'm going down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1. And I'm just continuing the pattern. Make sure that goes in both directions, okay? So go ahead and use your ruler, your ID. We want a straight line. Now that line was terrible. Okay. Now, just to make sure, I'm going to do my test point again. Our test point was 0, 0. So we're plugging in 0, 0. Is 0 greater than or equal to 7? No, that is false. Okay. So once again, 0, 0, not going to be in there. I have to make sure I shade everything else. Okay. Oops. So possible solutions here in class, somebody mentioned that 9, 9 would be a solution, or 2, 1. Those are all solutions, but 0, 0, no. All right. Let's do one more together. Is it looking at the inequality symbol? Let's answer these 3 questions. Is it open or closed? It's open, which means it's going to have a dashed line. Do we shade above or below? Well, it's greater than, so we have to shade above. Okay. Our slope is -3 over 4. -3 over 4 means this line is going to fall. All right, and our slope, or our y-intercept, I mean, is 0, 9. Okay, so starting at 0, 9, I'm going to have an open point, and then I'm going to go down 3 over 4. Down 3 over 4. Okay? And now in between there, we need to have dashed lines. Okay, our test point is 0, 0. So we're plugging in 0 is greater than negative 3 over 4 times 0 plus 9. Also on the left side we have 0 is greater than negative 3/4 times 0 is 0. 9 is 0 greater than 9? I don't think so. Okay, so this point right here should be no. So I cannot shade below, I have to shade above. Okay? And someone mentioned in this class, well, hey, Mr. Grice, a possible solution could be 5, 7. Yeah, 5, 7 works. Or even 9, 5. That works too. Okay? Now, what I want you to do is try number 4 all on your own. Okay? Remember that the symbol, answer your questions, slope, y-intercept, plug in your test point, and draw the line. Okay? You guys are all on your own. Pause the video, and good luck. Okay, so that's some of the first stuff you should have right now. You should know it's rising. Oh, I forgot to do this. Close points, solid, shade above. Okay? You should have all that, and then you should graph. Okay? Go ahead. Pause it. Get it going. All right, and there's your line. And remember, we said that 0, 0 is not part of the solution, so that should be a no. It should not be shaded in. Okay? All right, number 5. Now, the only thing difference with number 5 is y is not by itself. Okay? So, let's get back to solving. To solve for y, we want to subtract the x to the other side, and we get negative 3y is less than negative 2x plus 12. To get the y by itself, we need to divide by a negative 3. A negative divided by negative is a positive, and 12 divided by negative 3 is negative 4. Now the only thing I haven't written down yet is my inequality symbol, and that's because we divided by a negative. You have to flip the sign, okay? So now we can tell it's open, which means we're going to have a dashed line, and it's greater than, so we shade above. Okay? Now, we have the point 2, 3, which is positive, so our graph's going to rise, and the point 0, negative 4. Okay? So starting at 0, negative 4, we're open, and I'm going up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, up 2 over 3, and I'm doing that in both directions. We have dashed lines, and then add your arrows, okay? So using our test point 0, 0, is 0 greater than 2/3 times 0 minus 4? Well, we have 0. 2/3 times 0 is 0. Is 0 greater than negative 4? Nope. That's false. So I have to make sure that this point is not colored in. Okay, so we're going to shade below the line. There we go. Okay. All right. For number 6, see if you guys can solve it and answer these questions. And then we'll go through and we'll graph it together. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and good luck. Okay, that should be the first stuff you should get. Y is less than or equal to 5 over 2x minus 4. Our slope is 5 over 2. It's rising. And we start at 0, negative 4. And looking at the inequality symbol, that's how I was able to figure out its closed points. It's a solid line, and we shade below. Okay, remember the test point is 0, 0. So we got 0 less than or equal to 5 over 2 times 0 minus 4. We have 0 less than or equal to negative 4, which is false. Okay, so let's go through and shade this. Starting at negative 4, it's closed, and we're going up 5 over 2. Up 5 over 2. Down 5 over 2. So we've got our line right there. Okay. And we said that 0, 0 is not in it. So when we shade it, I'm going to make sure that I shade below that. Okay. Okay. Well, that's it for Algebra 1, Unit 4.5 Notes, Day 1. Now, if you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. This graphing is not going away, guys. We're going to be graphing to the end of the year. So if you're not good with this stuff, you got to come in for help. Okay? All right, guys. Thanks for watching.